What the heck? Welcome back to another video, guys. I'm currently in Tallinn. So welcome to Tallinn. I asked my Instagram audience who knew where Tallinn was, and 50% or 40% of you guys had no idea, which blows my mind. Tallinn is in Estonia. Estonia is in the northern east part of Europe, just below Finland, just next to Russia. So it is quite far east and also quite far north. It is one of the coolest cities, most underrated cities that I have actually been to ever in my travels over the last 5 years. And I thought, because there's no information about this beautiful city, that I would make a nice little video for you guys to talk about how to travel Tallinn on a budget. So let's get into that video right now. How to travel Tallinn on a budget with Jorden. If you are planning your trip to Tallinn, Estonia, have no fear, because Jorden is here and I have done all the research in the world so that you have your best experience. So listen up, people, as we get into the video and we talk about the best things to do in Tallinn, Estonia. In this video, I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for everyone to experience Tallinn. So I have made a Google Maps location list. The link will be in the description, just like everything else will be in the description. But this list is basically all my favorite points in Tallinn and the Old Town and the surrounding areas. I've linked all the cool churches, all the cool viewing points for sunrise, everything is in there. So if you do get lost or you don't want to watch the whole video, you can just look at the description and you'll have all the points you need to have a great stay in Tallinn. Most people think the more northern sort of countries are more expensive, which is inherently true, but Tallinn is the exception. Estonia is quite cheap if you do it correctly. I'm breaking this video into 6 key points to have a great time in Tallinn and the surrounding areas on a budget. The city of Tallinn has actually set up tourism perfectly. It is so easy to get around and it's so simple and convenient. Basically, they invented these things called a Tallinn card. Now, what is a Tallinn card? It's pretty simple. All it is a card. You make a one-time payment and you can access pretty much every single attraction that Tallinn has to offer and more. You get free public transport and yeah, I think there's over like 40 attractions on this card alone. I'll put the card prices up. You can either get 24 hours, 48 hours or 72 hours depending on how long you stay. If you are staying for 48 to 72 hours, the Tallinn card gets cheaper in price, so I do advise you use it for long term. But yes, I do love when cities just set up an easy, convenient, simple, cheaper way for tourism. So this card is a lifesaver. A little budget hack for this card as well is, what I would suggest doing is leave the museums or the big 2-3 hour sort of activities till the end of the Tallinn card. If you started this card on a Monday at 12, it will expire on a Tuesday at 12 if it's a 24-hour card. So at 11:59, run to the museum and tap your card, and you can get into the museum and you won't have to pay for the museum even though you've stayed over your 24 hours. You can technically turn this into a 27-hour card. Alright, so enough about the card and let's get into the 6 points that I want to break down on how to travel Tallinn on a budget. Number 1 is the Old Town. The Old Town is probably the main attraction here in Tallinn, as it is one of the oldest yet still well-preserved medieval cities in Europe. It is really cool. The architecture will blow you away. But the thing is, with the Old Town, it is very popular because it is the main attraction. So I advise you to go early, get up to sunrise, because no one is going to be in the Old Town until around 10, 11 o'clock in the day. But if you get up at 6 o'clock, you can literally run around in the Old Town for 3 to 4 hours with barely anyone around, getting amazing views, seeing the architecture, seeing the cool churches that Tallinn has to offer. The Old Town has 2 viewing decks. Both are really good for sunrise, so I'll put them in the links below. Number 2 is the street art. Tallinn is surprisingly trendy. Most people think Tallinn is a sort of old school place, which obviously with the medieval aspect of it, it is that. But it also has really cool industrial cafes, industrial areas where there is a lot of street art. I highly suggest you go check it out because it's free. I'll put all the information of where the street art is below in the description. see, the next version of this photo needs to be with no pole. Because, you know, the future, right? Whoa, Bambi is spewing a rainbow. I don't know what's so cool about this, but Bambi is spewing a rainbow. Estonia actually has a lot of commissioned art for industrial walls as well. So we're walking through the suburbs, checking it out. There are lots and lots of artworks to check out. So it's actually a great free way to see some more culture and diversity in Tallinn. Plus, it's not that popular yet, so you'll probably get some really good Instagram photos for your Instagram, which we all know is more important than we like it to be. So yeah. So the street art is literally everywhere in this industrial area, and wow, you can spend at least half a day walking around here. And the best thing about it is it's completely free, and it will probably be some of the coolest photos you can get in Tallinn, Estonia. It just shows that sort of like rustic, rural, modern side to it that you probably don't get in the old town, which I really like. I find that this piece in particular just represents what I'm feeling in my brain because it's just so like artistic. Next up is a day trip to Helsinki. This sounds weird because Helsinki, Finland, it's a completely different country, but it's actually probably one of the cheapest ways you'll be able to do it. So listen up. So we've woken up quite early here in Tallinn for a special adventure. Did you know that Tallinn is only a 2-hour boat ride away from Helsinki? It can be done on a budget. Let me break it down. 2 hours later, we are here and we are in Helsinki. Let's check it out. And look at this thing, guys, in its glory. Oh, that's sick. Welcome to... What is that? As soon as you get off at the ferry port, walk straight down about 200 meters and you'll have probably the coolest art exhibition statue thing you'll ever see in your life. It's so weird, it's so creepy, and I don't understand why it's in Finland, why it's just sitting here at the main entrance from the ferry port. But it's free and it's entertaining, and that's what we're all about. So it's definitely on the things to do. You can actually get a transfer from Tallinn to Helsinki and back via the ferry for roughly about 20 to 30 euro if you book in advance. If you do decide to come here on a last minute decision, it might cost a little bit more, so I highly suggest that you plan in advance if you plan to come to Helsinki. So the first thing we did is we got a travel card for 8 euros. This gives you access to ferries, buses, trams, trains, all through the city for 8 euros. So it's very, very affordable. So we caught a tram straight down to the public library. The public library is obviously free, and it is one of the most architecturally cool design looking things. It looks very, very Finnish. It just looks awesome. Check this out. Look at this building, guys. It's like surfing a wave. This place has a whole bunch of architecture. I've just been walking around, like taking it in. The architecture here is stunning, so I'm just jumping from library to library, university to university. It's been a great day so far. And it sounds a bit strange, but just walking around in the city is probably the best way to see it, especially if you have a limited time like 1 or 2 days. And if you are struggling to justify the price of the ferry, which can be expensive, as I said before, just look at the hostel or hotel prices in Helsinki compared to Tallinn, Estonia. For about $20 US or less, you can get a really, really, really good accommodation in Tallinn, Estonia, where $20 US isn't gonna quite cut it in Helsinki. Yeah, I think the cheapest hostel I found in Helsinki was $40 US, and it sells out pretty fast. So if that doesn't justify you taking a ferry across for the day, I don't know what will. The last thing to remember is that there is actually a really good free walking tour online. So if you want to know about the history, I've put another link in the description below for the walking tour in Helsinki. It's quality if you want to know anything about the history of this place, and it is free. Like everything, free. And just like that, everyone, we are back in Tallinn after an epic day in Helsinki. Wasn't too expensive and we saw a lot. There are many public saunas in Helsinki, so if you do want to have a local experience, you can go to a public sauna. For 10 euros, you can get an island hopping card, which allows you public transport through the city and ferries to the islands. And the islands just have as much history as the city itself, so I highly suggest you go check that out if you have a little extra time in Helsinki. And another quick budget tip is that Helsinki Airport is a very big hub. Tallinn Airport, not so much. So most of the cheap flights to Tallinn are probably going to be through Helsinki because the airport is a lot larger than the one at Tallinn. So you can actually plan this to your advantage so you can get to see Helsinki, Finland, and Tallinn Estonia sort of in the same trip. Either before you arrive to Tallinn, fly into Helsinki Airport, spend the day in Helsinki, go to Tallinn, and then if you're flying out, you can do the same thing on the reverse, and on the way back, you can go check out Helsinki before you fly home or to your next destination. It is another cheap way of seeing Helsinki without having to make the day trip return, if that is an option for you. Another great thing about Estonia is that because the country is so far north, you expect it to be a little expensive, like its other Nordic partners, but it's actually still really cheap. So right now, a great way to get around the city if you're sick of the trams and want to get out to more rural areas is taking the scooters. All you have to do is download the app, scan it, and away you go. So let's do that. You. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh shit, we're on the wrong side of the road! So we just completed a 20-minute ride on these scooters and it costs €2.80. If that is not cheap, I don't know what is. So that is another awesome way to get out to the more rural areas in Tallinn. With the scooters, you can actually get to a lot of surrounding areas and the industrial area and the docklands. These are actually really cool areas of Tallinn as well. So I highly suggest you take a scooter, scoot around and just explore for yourself. You never know what you might find. You might think this might not be a budget item expense here in Tallinn, Estonia, but for only €45, you can have a quick 5-minute scenic tour of the old town. It may not be the cheapest thing you'll ever do, but for €45, it's probably the cheapest way you'll ever get into a helicopter. Let's go! And I have looked at prices in Paris. It's about €300 to get into a helicopter in Paris, so this ain't too bad. Dun, 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 dun. I highly suggest you do it over sunrise or sunset because those are the times where the city and the light is the most beautiful. We did a sunrise mission. It was cold and it was tiring to get up that early, but it was definitely worth it for that golden hour glow. Alright guys, now this is probably one of my favorite little secrets about Tallinn, Estonia. There is an abandoned underwater prison that is less than an hour away from Tallinn. It is one of the coolest places you'll ever visit, and it has this land formation that will blow you away. I'm glad I have the drone video to show you because I can't really explain what it is unless you just see it for yourself. The visuals are really cool, the photos are really cool, and the history is really cool. Just for a 1 hour, €3 bus outside of Tallinn, you can go to Rumu underwater prison. This place also has a €3 entry and is only open during the summer season, so you have to check it out because it is seasonal. So it is just one of those places you can go to relax and actually explore. It is a great half-day adventure and it only costs €3. But if you do have the time, I put this as a high priority because it is just one of those things that you will be shocked that you're even witnessing. So yeah, check it out for sure. I'm going to hand it over to vlogging Jorden that is in Tallinn right now, and he's going to wrap up this video. But just remember to like and subscribe. Well, sadly, it is my last night here in Tallinn. So that is it for me, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please put a thumbs up and a comment because it really helps me. Subscribe if you want to see more of this beautiful looking face. And in the end, I hope this video has helped you out. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below and I will get back to you about the whole budgeting situation. And apart from that, enjoy your stay in Tallinn. It is one of the most underrated cities in Europe and it is a place that I think you definitely could spend 2 to 3 nights in. Thanks for watching the video and I will see you guys in the next one. What the heck? Goodbye! Alright, now it's time to scoot home. Let's go.